Hello bookworms, I'm Hannah, and in my May wrap-up video I mentioned my plan to do a standalone video review of a literary thriller I received as an ARC, and this is that video. A spotlight review of Every Last Lie by Mary Kubica. This is the story of a woman named Clara Solberg whose world is torn asunder when her husband Nick and her 4-year-old daughter Macy are in a car crash from which Macy walks away unharmed and Nick is injured fatally. Police deem the crash an accident, saying Nick was to blame, but when Macy starts having night terrors and crying about what she saw just before the crash, Clara is given reason to believe that her husband's death was no accident. Kubica opens the story in the first-person perspective of Clara recounting the day of the accident. We get the immediate sense that Clara and Nick have a loving relationship. This is not a woman who is tired of her husband or whose marriage is on the brink of divorce. Clara and Nick are dedicated parents to their daughter Macy and their newborn son Felix, and they are enamored with one another. Arriving at the hospital is a tragic moment for Clara, one that Kubica captures with sharp writing. This is the moment when Clara sees her husband's body. I run a convulsing hand along his hair. I touch the bristle of his face. I lick my thumb and wipe at a swatch of fluid above his eye. I press my lips to his forehead and cry. These are just the opening pages of the book. Right out the gate, we have a tragic and compelling setup. A woman who just lost the man she loves, who's still physically recovering from recently giving birth, who now has 2 children, one of them an infant, to raise on her own. Police saying her husband is to blame for her tragic circumstances, and before the first chapter is over, a chilling incident that gives readers their first inkling that the crash may not have been an accident. Kubica weaves details into the story that exacerbate the tension. Things like the weight of financial distress. Money is tight and Clara must find a way to pay for her husband's funeral. Also, a sense of claustrophobia. The weather is stifling and Clara's air conditioner is broken, but she's already financially strapped, so she's often hot and sticky. And the strain of motherhood. Clara has an upset toddler on her hands who's sleeping poorly because of night terrors, and a newborn who's constantly crying. In the midst of all this tension, there are moments in the book that are surprisingly creepy. Those moments are few and far between, but they were unsettling enough that I was always glad I wasn't alone while reading this book. Once Clara gets the sense that the crash was not an accident, she starts digging for the truth, and her emotional distress during this process is where a lot of the suspense comes from. This is a psychological thriller because so much of the uncertainty and the questions are achieved through Kubica's deft manipulation of Clara's thought process. The more Clara unearths about the accident, the more questions she has. The police won't listen to anything she has to say, and everyone seems suspect. Clara is a sleep-deprived woman grappling with grief and uncertainty, and we get swept down this vortex of spiraling speculation right alongside her. Clara has always viewed Nick as a loving husband and father, but some of the clues she digs up suggest she doesn't know her husband as well as she thought. She's already upset with the police for tarnishing Nick's reputation, saying he's to blame for the accident, and now she's finding these clues that put her loving memory of Nick at risk as well. We occasionally get chapters written in the first-person perspective of Nick before the accident. These chapters effectively balance Clara's discovery of clues, so we get even more of the story behind these questionable finds. As readers, we get a secret look at Nick's activities that inform our opinion of him in ways that Clara may never experience. Bottom line, this is a story of tragedy, secrets, and deception that concludes in an unexpected way. Every Last Lie will be available for purchase on June 27th, so if you're in the mood for an entertaining literary thriller, fear not, because this book's release date is right around the corner. I want to hear from all of you. In your opinion, what makes a story thrilling? What are the ways an author can hold you captive or make a story feel suspenseful? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks, everybody!